Welcome, everyone. It's me, Wood Fire. I'm currently going to have a nice Christian conversation with Rashid Doshat and Paranormal Mikto. Both of them are really great Christians, very educated, and they will teach you stuff you have never heard before in church. And you will understand your Bibles better, and hopefully, we can show you that there is a different version of your Bible than what you have been taught and what you have learned. So, currently, I'm waiting for my two guests to arrive to join the conversation. Um, I have currently sent them invites, so we just have to wait a minute. Paranormal Migto had to get himself a drink, and he'll be right here. And Rashid is having uh, invite issues with joining, so he'll probably be here in a minute, I hope. Um, so I'll basically just hold on the conversation in the fort until then. I'm just going to check to see if I have a decent sound. 1 second. So currently, I'm waiting for my two guests to arrive to join the conversation. Um, I have currently sent them invites, so we just have to wait a minute. Okay, decent enough. I'm not currently holding my microphone. When I hold my microphone, I'll have a better sound. So, everybody, welcome to the live stream. It should be a pretty good one as soon as they return and accept the invites. It's rather annoying that you cannot post um, links inside the comment box. But I do have one in the description box, so they can join by clicking the description link invite. Anybody who is a Christian and has any sense of brains, you all can join the conversation too. Any trolls or haters will be removed from the conversation, but it is an open live stream. If you feel like joining the conversation, you may. There is no screening. There is no pre-approving what you have to say. If you have a question about the Bible, you can just feel free to join the conversation, and we will happily answer all of your questions. With that said, do not troll us, do not harass us, be friendly, be polite, keep it clean, keep it PG, and enjoy the conversation and the broadcast. We just got, wait 1 second. We just got done making a 4 hour live stream, and now we decided to cut it off and start all over again. But we were just talking about the Nephilim, and we were talking about Antichrist. We were talking about how Turkey flipped their flag. We were talking about the moneyless society. So please bear with me for a minute while my guests return to the conversation. I might just send them another invitation really quick because I'm not sure if this one actually worked. Why is he sending me an invitation now? Actually, okay, let's see what happens when I go there. Oh, okay. He wants to make the conversation. That's fine too. I'll just download it from him later then and take it over. One second. Let's see what's taking place here. My guests seem to have made another live stream chat, which I'm not going to join. I'm going to stay here. But it's a little bit odd that when I send them an invitation, they themselves make another invite. Let me see if I can send them another invitation really quick. I'll just restart this whole general chat actually because it's.
Can you hear me? Can you can you hear me now? Hello. Are you there? I'm here.
Hey Rashid, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I am not sure on what channel we are. If we are on my channel or your channel right now.
I'm. You hear me right now?
Oh yes, you're on my channel. Welcome.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
there was some problems there. Welcome, Rashid, to my channel, and welcome to the live stream. We're currently waiting for Paranormal Migto to join up, and then we can have a three-way conversation. I have put a long time no see, buddy. You,
Indeed.
I like your last videos. I've been watching them where you're talking about the city hall and all that. You were talking just downtown, and it was really fascinating. And I was watching your possession video chain. It was also pretty good. I like what you have to say. You have really good information for people, and I think your channel deserves a lot more views than it's getting.
Yeah. So okay. So everything is set now. So we're just waiting for the other one to join. And
Yes, that's correct.
okay. Now it was a little bit messier, but I'm glad my Google settings are right now
Okay,
because
well,
I just couldn't receive any invites. But you guys were talking about very good stuff, and I'm glad to that you guys are aware and sharing information. And yeah, what you were saying, words of fire is true. Often I walk through the city making videos just in public. I'm not really ashamed of anything, you see. And what I basically do is I show the public stuff that people just can't see. For
exactly.
example, it also the video you were talking about of me walking in some public space and explaining the witchcraft behind it. So the thing is, it's so obvious, but because people are trained to mind their own business and to follow the script, they're not aware when they encounter something that's influencing them. And they'll be thinking that they're perfectly fine. What I'm doing is I'm going to the public spaces when I have my telephone or my camera and I record myself and show, and I'm really pointing out this was going on and this is why I don't recognize it. You see, the thing is, I often notice that there are many churches, I mean, there are good churches out there, don't get me wrong, but there are some churches that the only thing they're doing is they're performing some moralistic teaching, and that moralistic teaching just, it does inspire you, but it does not point out the practical reality. And you see, I'm more focused on pointing out the practical reality because we all have to do with the practice eventually. You
Yes, I
see,
would.
that's really I think that's really my calling, and I also ask for feedback once in a while on my channel because I'm just 23 years old. So if there are older people with more experience, with more advice, I'm willing to take it. But I'm really into the practical and the to the point stuff, and that's why many of my videos are short because I want people to get stuff, and because I'm not gaining anything by allowing you to spend more time on my videos than needed.
Direct and to the point.
Yes. Is the other one joined already or?
No, not yet. So my
Okay.
viewers out there, what Rashid really does is he goes downtown and he really shows you how the witchcraft is being used on the general public, and he tries to awaken people that are stuck in the matrix to snap out and start seeing reality. Many people say there is no God. I cannot see God. I cannot find God. It's because you are not living inside of His reality. You are living inside of an alternate reality that has been created by man. And what Rashid does is he goes downtown in areas and he really points out how things are being used to manipulate you and to control you, and how the world is not designed this way and not supposed to be this way. And I really think that his videos are a godsend, and many of my people should go out there and watch what he has to say. He is very educated and very enlightened, and he can really teach you a lot. I mean, some of his videos have just mind-boggled me and inspired me to make other videos as well. I mean, he lives it. He'll, for example, he'll be talking, and somebody walk past him, and he just continues on talking. Like he's not hiding anything. He's genuine in what he says, and he really backs it up. And it's beautiful to come across a person like this, a genuine disciple of Christ. and that's why I like Rashid, and I think he's a really great person. And I think that all my viewers should go to his channel and subscribe to him because he has a lot of good points and a lot of good things that you should know of. I mean, if you stay uneducated, then you will always be uneducated. He will educate you in a proper manner, and I can put my War Drums Fire seal of approval on him. I've watched many of his videos, and I have no complaints or anything against. I have nothing to say that's wrong. I mean, he's got it completely dead on, and I'm very proud that he's out there doing what he does, and I think it's really great that he's doing it. Hey, Paranormal Mikto, welcome to the conversation. Me and Rashid were just
Hello.
we were just talking about how Rashid channel, what's his channel about, how he goes out and explains the occult in modern day times, how he's a really great speaker, and how he basically tries to bring the youth towards Christ more, and how he's genuine and doesn't lie, and he'll never steer you in the wrong direction, and yeah, you know, I'm just a normal guy. I only got 1,400 subscribers, but I can tell you all that he's a really good channel to subscribe to.
Great. And what's his channel's name, or how would I find it?
Well, his channel is Rashid Doset. It's pretty easy to find.
Okay.
But his videos are quite inspiring, and I love his genuineness about him and the righteousness about him. And you can really tell that he's a genuine preacher, and I just love the guy. I think he's terrific. So Rashid,
Awesome.
so Rashid meet Paranormal Mikto meet Rashid.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I can say the same about my channel. I've only got one, and it's kind of got lots of sanctions from YouTube. But I'm slowly getting out my message of MGTOW and faith in the true God. So yeah, I'm slowly getting there. So it's just going to take me a bit more time, probably.
You see, the thing is, I want to react to it. What you're saying is, okay, is right. The thing is, Wars on Fire was talking about, you know, the alternate reality that men designed. And you see, what I want to say is now, okay, I'm making these videos, they are inspiring and all of that, but I'm just a messenger. You see, and I always tell people in my videos, you should pray to the Father in the name of Jesus, you should be guided by the Holy Spirit. I'm just a messenger, and I always encourage people to do their own research also. You see, even for example, a paranormal researcher, if your channel is not the same as mine, it doesn't matter. There's no comparison in the kingdom of God. You see, and
No.
that's the thing. That's the thing that gets many people trapped, because when you look at society, you see, there's always a comparison based upon something that isn't real, and that's how people are captured in mental slavery, because they are stuck with a script basically, and in the script there's a comparison, and because they keep on comparing, you see, they never get free. So that's, I wanted to say this based on what you said, because you said that I couldn't say the same about my channel. See, I don't care. Your channel, your gift to glorify God. Wars on Fire has his gift, I have my gift, and all other Christians have their gift also. There should be no comparison and no measurements of ranges in the kingdom of God, because that comes from the kingdom of darkness. And that's also one thing I want to make clear to my viewers, is that you need to get out of that mindset of comparing.
Amen.
It's very destructive.
Amen.
And you see, let me be real here. You like Wars on Fire, you said that often I go to downtown and I make videos, and indeed, people will look at me very strange. I don't care about it, you see, because I'm looking at it like this, okay? We are real, okay? Reality exists, okay? So if there is danger objectively, it should be addressed for the well-being of everyone else, you see, and that's what the Bible is doing. The Bible is addressing objective reality, therefore also objective danger, you see. But what I've noticed is that folks often do not want to acknowledge objective reality. They are living in what I call the Disney world. So that's the only way I can call it. It's like going to a Disney park and you are going through all these attractions, you see, and you get this high that you are having a good time. You see, that's really what society is. It's constructed to keep you, not just Wars on Fire in a Lotus Room. Wars on Fire made a video called The Lotus Room, and it really describes perfectly what it is. So if you are on this channel, go watch the video Lotus Room, because that's really what society is. You see, And I can talk more about it, but I want to hear more of your views, paranormal researcher, because you have your gift too, and I want your gift to be confrontation also.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you. I've been a MGTOW most of my life. I even when I was very young, I kind of could see problems with marriage because in the 1970s in my country they passed a law about rape in a marriage, how husbands aren't allowed to rape their wives. It's the same as a strange man attacking the wife, beating her up, dragging her to his car, and raping her is the same as the husband doing it. So I could see that that's extremely wrong and evil. And in my country, only the man can commit rape because only the man has the organ in his body. A woman can never be convicted of rape in my country. So ever since then, I've been very, very worried about marriage and worried about feminism, and I just don't think that it's safe for men these days to get married because the woman and the government will join forces, join together, and one man could never beat that, could never win. So I'm trying to tell guys to be careful about being married. Obviously, I can't control them and I can't force them to live their lives a certain way, but I'm trying to get the message out. And I'm now talking about Christianity, which up until now I've hardly talked about on my channel because I'm just getting to end the MGTOW message. So now I'm bringing in more parts of my life, and I think that the two go hand in hand. I think being a Christian and a MGTOW is perfect because we're following the example of Jesus in the Bible, who never got married. He was there. He was in the world for another purpose, and other people. He had time to heal the sick and had time to get demons out. If you married, you'd have to be working, have to spend time at home. So I think Christianity and MGTOW go very well together. So that's what I'm focusing on at the moment.
You see, paranormal researcher, you said that you can't force people, but you need to realize one thing: you are a force. You see,
Yes.
when you're walking in the calling of God for your life, you don't have to force people because you are a force on itself, even when you're not aware of it. You see, that's why they're resisting you. Because think about it, they would not resist something that doesn't have an impact upon them. You see.
Well, let's calm down. Let's bring it. Let's sum it up a little bit. What just all took place. Paranormal MGTOW brought out the statement that he is trying to bring out the best in humanity, and same with Rashid. So Rashid is stating that if you are standing behind Christianity, that your entity, your being, is the force itself, and that if you add more force to it, it might repel people away. But you have to realize, as a Christian, that you are a force by itself. And Paranormal MGTOW was saying that he's just trying to guide people away from the dangers and exploit the dangers of the world. And Rashid was mentioning that as well, that he's also trying to explain that if there's a danger out there and we can prevent it, or if there's a danger out there and we can warn others, that it's our duty to do so. So that was my quick summing up of what I was just hearing from both of them.
No, that's cool. Thanks for that. I totally agree. That's a very good sum up. And I definitely understand that I am a force as well, but many people in my country, I live in a Western country, and people will never submit, they'll never listen, they think that they know better, so it's extremely hard to influence them and to try to get them to listen. So I try to do it in a way that they're not going to just instantly sort of click the corner of a page and run away from my channel. So it's just very hard, especially with women. Women don't want to submit to men ever now in my country, so it's not an easy process to try and get people to listen.
You see, the thing is, we've talked about MGTOW, about it. It's in harmony with Christianity. The thing is, our present-day culture now, me and Words of Fire talked about Arrested Development in a video about a month or two back. And after that video, I began to do more research about Arrested Development. You see, because when I get into something, I really go to the root of it. And I was quite shocked. I need to say I was quite shocked because I realized that, whoa, it seems as if the whole society is stuck in arrested development. And what arrested development is basically, Wars on Fire also explained it, and it was basically that you are stuck at the emotional level and you can't progress any further. And when you break it down, you see, because as you know, I'm an anthropologist. I study cultural anthropology. So we as anthropologists, we learn how to observe cultures and groups of people. And we have learned to to report the behaviors and patterns in group behavior. And so I began to practice my anthropological knowledge about arrested development, and I can tell you, arrested development is the design of the modern day world, especially in the West. You see, for example, feminism. You see, of course, women are emotional beings just as men are emotional beings. Okay. We're both made in the image of God. However, emotions are not the goal of our existence, you see. But if you look at the media, if you look at advertisement, it's all designed to keep you in an emotional state. Why? Because when you're in an emotional state, you are easily, you basically have an open door for evil spirits to just be attached to you, you see. And because when you progress further, and can only progress further when you are born again, because when you begin to walk with God, your emotions will be in order with the truth, instead of, the lies, taking hold of your emotions. Because human beings, they are intellectual beings, but they're also emotional. So if we don't feel comfortable with something, we tend to resist it, you see. And that's why in the world, they make all these stories, these myths, and they repeat it over and over and over again, because once something gets into your heart is also called the subconscious mind. The heart cannot distinguish between truth and fiction. So everything that gets inside your heart, for you, it becomes real, as if it's real. That's why the Bible says in Proverbs, guard your heart, because from it springs the issues of life. And so, arrested development, I want to hear your view on it, what you've encountered of it, because just to be real, this is something that has been going on, and so basically people aren't really growing up anymore. It's just that people have an issue against becoming an adult.
May I intervene really quick there?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Just to give you my version of arrested development, if I may.
Yes.
We have television shows today that are designed to keep people stupid. But we also have a government today that is designed to keep people stupid. There are a couple of presidents that have been in the States that have actually, including Obama, called the people cattle. And that is exactly how they are being treated. They are being treated as cattle. And we are being seen as cattle as well. But it is due to our own emotional state of consciousness and our own perceptions that we are not waking up. And many people are sticking their heads in the sand, too afraid to see reality. They don't realize that their body is sticking out of the sand and it can be shot at any time.
True. Well,
yeah, I agree with that. My own opinion on arrested development is psychologically, when you're born, you're a baby, you become a child, older child, teenager, and adult. I think that the goal of the government or the Illuminati, whoever is in control, they don't want people to become adults. They want to keep them in a lower stage of development, like a teenager or an older child, because adults will be able to judge the truth and judge what's happening, but children are more emotional and will listen to what the parent, the government tells them more, whereas adults won't do that. So I think that the arrested development is here, and it's done on purpose by the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, just so that they can be control the people more better. That's what I think.
Can I step in for a second?
Yes,
of course.
You mentioned the arrested development as a state of control, a way to keep people in control. But I see a downside to that. I mean, that they do that is already pretty bad, but there's another flip side to that as well. It leads to a zombie army. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean by zombie army? But if these people are dumbed down and controlled, they also have voting rights. They all have their individual rights. And those rights can also be used to hurt humanity. Such as the vote that right now we're going to be voting in Hillary Clinton. That's pretty much sure.
Yes.
And it's been done by this tactic. and this tactic should be exposed to the world. That it's basically dumbing down the humanity. And what happens to a person that lives on emotion all the time? They become psychopathic in the end. This is a great way to create zombie-ish, psychopathic people with no empathy, no sympathy, no boundaries, and no respect for anything or anyone or any deity.
Yeah, that's very good point. So the Illuminati is thinking of ways to make their zombie army and to keep us all in control so that they can continue sitting on the top and guiding society. I honestly think that they're following the Book of Revelation sometimes. It seems that they're bringing about basically what the Book of Revelation says. So if they're in control, they can just sit there and bring all these things about. Bring in famines, bring in wars, and they'll just do it.
You know, I want to interject something. You see, what you both say is absolutely true. You both have valid points. And I wanted to show another variable to this situation. You see, there is absolutely a downside in wanting to have a zombie society because, let's be clear, that's what they want people to be. They don't want you to be adult, do things spiritually, mentally, and all they want you to just follow the script. And now look at this. They obviously know the Book of Revelations, you see? And the symbolism and everything, they explain it, also in the rock bands and all of that. But what they don't, and you know, here is where things get wrong for them. They are not realizing by them trying to play God, they're basically killing themselves. Because, you see, that's what it is. People that become power hungry, their sense of reality is they're completely blinded. So they will not be objective enough to realize, okay, this is how far my power goes, these are the consequences, I need to back off. You see, they will, because they're addicted to power, they will do whatever it takes to keep power, and eventually their whole system will collapse with drastic consequences, you see. And that's what the Book of Revelations also make clear, that the wicked will, all the wicked, whether they are from the east or the west, will all try to maintain their power, but it will clash and collapse with, severe. It will be the greatest collapse ever, and afterwards, Christ returns. You see, so because let me tell you, those people who are into Illuminati, Luciferians, top Freemasons, they know the Bible, they know Scripture. They just think that they are above the Most High. They just think that they, with their own limited knowledge, can outdo the Most High. And you see, God is not going to fight them to put them in a place. What the Lord is basically doing is the Lord is allowing them to do their things so that they will collapse themselves. You see, that's basically what we're seeing happening now. So,
I have something to add into that.
Okay, Ed.
Can I add in something?
Yes.
You were mentioning how they're on a power trip, and they seek to become godlike. There's a problem with that. They're not thinking ahead. They don't think. These are narcissistic people. These are people that actually live on impulse and live on emotion, and everything has to be instant gratification. It must be now. The weakness of the narcissist has always been that it must be now, right now, instantly. They don't have the patience to think ahead. So every time they make a move or strike out, it's impulsive and instant. If you look at it in the United States right now, with the gay marriage, with all 50 states being legalized, it was instant. Everything that happens in America today is instant. The war that happened in Iraq and in Syria, it's all being done instantly and impulsively. And it's all done on emotion. This is a clear indication of a psychopath in control. But here's the thing. If you have the zombie nation, right, that are all being led by this one leader, if the world leader that is leading them is psychopathic, what do you think is going to happen to the public that is listening to them? Then when you see television shows like The Simpsons and like Family Guy that are just interjecting constant psychopathic messages into the people, and the people are laughing about it and don't even understand what is going on, these people are completely losing it. When you watch the TV show Family Guy, they interject scenarios into your head that you would never think of yourself. But secretly, they are making you psychopathic with them. You have to guard your mind in this world. You have to protect your mind. And if you allow such filth to come into your head and such suggestive messages, you are opening up gateways and portals into your head for more. You're going to want to have more of it. This is why people that watch horror movies can never just be satisfied with one horror movie. They always have to watch a bunch of them. They always have to watch them in the middle of the night. They have to turn the sound up really loud. They have to always make sure to get a new, higher thrill. because they keep opening up gateways to demons to coming inside of their bodies, and they don't even realize what they're doing. But that's what's happening right now too with the zombie army. They're just becoming complete empty vessels for the Nephilim to take over.
Yes, it's absolutely true. And I want to continue about what you've said because, for example, you've mentioned the sodomite marriage that has been basically approved by the Supreme Court of the United States. You see,
Yes.
many, I call them sodomites. I don't care if people are offended by it, but that's really what they are. If you have unnatural affections and you go for it, you are a sodomite, pure and simple. Now look, those sodomites, right? They are celebrating because, ooh, we can get married. You see, and first of all, this whole circumstance is stupid. Why? Because they are basically having sex and do all those great stuff with each other anyway. So why are you fighting to get a spiritual approval? You understand what I'm saying? So the whole thing of the gay agenda, it doesn't make any sense. Because, but there's another part of it. The thing is, the whole sodomite marriage thing is a distraction. Why? Because, now look at this way. You know, Christians are being stigmatized. They're being blamed for all the ills of the world. Because the world never takes responsibility. All right? So now they put people with unnatural desires. Many of them are victimized. Because, you know, child abuse can often lead to homosexual and lesbian feelings. You know, that's proven scientifically. And so there are people who are victims in that movement who don't know any better. And what the media is doing is they are using those people to make Christians look bad. And no, many Christians aren't trained spiritually to discern the spirits. So they just either react in a foolish manner or they just, you know, avoid the subject, you see? And now they have their approval. So-called the sodomite community won. But now, look at what's going to happen now. You see, lesbianism and homosexuality, you see, is a mental disorder. It has been, you know, I'm not going to go into discussion with it. It is a mental disorder. Even without psychological knowledge or a degree or with the Bible, you can understand it's not natural. It's not normal, you see. So you can avoid the reality that is something wrong, but you cannot avoid the consequences and the disease that's developing. So since the years 2000 till 2015, past 15 years, or maybe longer, was 20 years, you see, there was this whole focus upon getting our rights, getting equality, and because of that, the sodomites and also the sodomite supporters could avoid, you know, all the issues that were going on. But now that they've received their acknowledgement, they have nobody to blame anymore. So what you're going to witness now is that the sodomites, there will be great confusion in their communities. They will begin to fight each other, and there's going to be bloodshed, you see? Because don't get the things twisted. Sodomites can be very violent towards each other, you see? They're not only violent towards people who are against sodomy, but even amongst each other. You see, for example, the domestic violence among gay and lesbian couples are very high, and the injuries are quite intense, but people don't talk about it. So you often say it's a suicide because people were homophobic, they blame it on heterosexual people. Often it's sodomites killing each other. And what we are going to witness now, also in Europe, everyone heard is that sodomites, well, they're going to explode. Just like during Sodom and Gomorrah in ancient times, things are going to get very out of hand. And you see, and that's what Wars on Fire also made clear. They're impulsive. They don't think straight. And that's why on my channel, what I'm trying to say to people, especially young people, is be objective. Think straight, think ahead. Don't just get into something because it feels good or many people agree with it. You see, because if many people agree, for example, that AIDS is not a sickness anymore because many people have it, are you going to agree with that also and get AIDS? No, of course not. You see, and sometimes I can be a bit sharp in my videos. People may think, oh, that's very hurtful. Well, you see, it's more hurtful to become sick and to die and go to hell than if you just listen to people who are just telling the pure truth to get you free from destruction that's upon you. You see, that's my take on it.
I say the same thing all the time. I always say the same thing. I always bring you the truth, no matter how much it hurts. I bring you the truth because if I don't bring the truth, who will? And it's better to tell the truth than live a lie.
And you know, the thing is, many young people, because I can understand their mind, I'm only 23 years old. You see, the thing is, many people think if I accept the truth, then I'm lost. I don't have a life anymore. And you see, that's a lie from the pit of hell. You see, because look, let's look at this way. You have reality. We are real, okay? See, first of all, if you encounter someone who doesn't even want to acknowledge that we are real, then it often makes you cut off the conversation because You can't talk to them. There are people at universities that says there is no reality. There are really people thinking like that. You see, I'm telling you guys, if you encounter such people, it's better to cut off the conversation because many of those people are demon possessed and their mind is
Yeah.
completely corrupted. And to talk with them, you're basically dealing with demons, and those demons are going to use that body to seriously injure you. Okay, but let's move on. You have reality. Okay, and there are let's list up some facts. You are born, you're living now, you have needs, emotional needs, physical needs, and you are mortal, so you're going to die, and there's going to be a resurrection soon when Christ returns. Those are true objective facts. Okay, nobody can deny them. Okay, so you live for a while here, and then you have the resurrection where you will live forever. Okay, so, and first of all, when you look at the Bible, you look at the good message, Jesus has finished all. So you just have to put your faith in him and you receive his righteousness and you receive his true life. So your focus should be on Christ, okay? Because when you focus upon Christ, then you receive his knowledge and his experience to work with. See, and what's better, your imagination or the imagination of society or his knowledge and his experience, you see? So if you look at it objectively, of course, you should receive the experience and knowledge of Christ, you see, to trust upon him. And the thing is, folks, many young people, I can say about a lot of people, but many young people, they put their emotional confidence in the conventions of the community, you see, because they have experienced, if I conform to the mental constructions of a community, then there is a physical, emotional reward, whether it's sex or whether it's an approval, people are praising you, and that's what they're going after. And that's what they see as life. But what they are not realizing is that it is a drug, an emotional drug they're addicted to, you see? Because, look, everything in the physical realm now is submitted to decay. Your body is going to die, you see, you're going to grow older, you see, things are not permanently here. So to get attached to things that aren't permanent is basically harming yourself. You see, when your spirit becomes connected to the Most High, you are safe. Okay, and when you're safe, now you can have safe social interactions with others. So because you will fail. You see, as a creature, you are capable of failing. That's natural. You have weaknesses. That's natural. There's nothing sinful about it. You have weaknesses. Everyone has weaknesses, so that's why you cannot trust upon a collective of weak creatures together. You need to put your confidence in the self-existent, immutable creator that doesn't need anything, because he doesn't need anything, he cannot be manipulated. And think about it, creatures can be manipulated, so you don't trust a creature that can be manipulated, even if they have good intentions. Even if someone has good intentions, they're a Christian, they can be deceived without them knowing it, so you never put trust on something that can fail.
Let me interrupt that for a minute.
Okay.
Matthew 16:26 states, "For what does a man profit if he shall gain the world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" Matthew 16:26.
Yeah, that's a great verse. I mean, nothing is worth your soul. It's much better. That's much better to live a very poor, hard, difficult life and go to heaven than it is to be rich and famous like Madonna or Lady Gaga and lose your soul. So, yeah, it's a very important verse.
Never be envious of others, for you know not what they did to achieve what they have.
Yes,
that's right.
That's absolutely true. You see, and I'm going to be real with you guys. You see, I used to feel disadvantaged when I see some other prospering, but it was during my walk with God that I began to realize, hold on a minute, what I'm doing is I'm comparing, and I didn't realize, why am I comparing? You see, what am I gaining of it? And then it's that all that led me to do more investigation and realize, hold on a minute, all envy comes by comparing, you see, and it's a comparison that isn't based on something that's real, and because it's not based on something that's real, it can never be satisfied. You see, that's why, for example, that's why people that are sodomites, they're not content with being able to do their things together. They want to force others to join with them, because the craving is not natural, so there's no substitute in the universe, in heaven and on earth, that can satisfy it. You see, and it's not only with sodomy. There are more imaginations people are holding on to that, when you break it down, it's not normal, it's not natural. And on my channel, I put out 1,200 videos. I talk a lot about mental constructions, and I reveal them to people so that they will be free from it. You see, because, for example, in MGTOW, you see, of course, the women also can be narcissistic and psychopathic. That's an obvious truth. You see,
Yes.
that's natural. Like, being narcissist is not natural, but it does happen that women also can become psychopathic. You see, and the thing is, when you state something like that, you immediately get attacked by a lot of people because why? They are brainwashed to think according to a story. You see, and the thing is, this is how the enemy is brainwashing you. He comes with true facts that are objectively true, but he will present those facts in a manner to suggest a certain outcome. He will not tell the outcome directly, but he will suggest an outcome. And because human beings are designed to look for safety and avoid danger. So when someone comes with a story to you and it includes many true facts and they're suggesting there's a danger, you automatically are stirred up to look for the solution, look for safety. You see? And that's the thing. They give the presented facts in such a manner that you will think that, okay, if I go to this direction, and then I'll be safe. You see? And that's basically also the Hegelian dialect, basically. With a thesis and antithesis, and together becomes a synthesis, you see. And when you look at the feminist movement, for example, because I've studied the feminist movement, because to
Hmm.
be real, feminists quite annoyed me with their statements that men are rapists, men are wrong, men this, men that. I really got angry with them for attacking men all the time. So I began to research the feminist movement. What I found out was that the feminist movement was started by lesbians who were often also into the occult, into witchcraft. But
Yep.
that's not something that the school system is never going to tell you.
Yep.
And when you look at it, the feminism, because I'm a researcher of historical facts, and when I went through it, the feminist movement did not start in the 19th century, as they've lied to you. Feminism is something that was around during ancient times. It were women that rejected men and burned with lesbian lust towards other women, and they often separated themselves into separate villages, separate islands to live only with women. You see, and they would go to the shores to men, but they only would put spells on the men to get stuff from men, and afterwards they would basically, kill the men. Those such things would happen. And what you see now is that the same practice of, female vampirism, because that's how I call it, is vampirism. They've introduced it in the school system, but they've attached it to a story of female equality. Females were being oppressed, it's very wrong, so we need to change. Of course, when you're a child and people say that women are being oppressed, you see, you get angry. Why? Because you have a mother, you have sisters, you have other females around, you want people to be safe, you want to have peace. That's how you're designed as human. So you hear this story of female oppression over and over again. You begin to believe it. And as a man, I'm talking about how it impacts men now. As a man, you tend to feel guilty because men are pointed out as the perpetrators, and you are a man, so you always feel I can become a perpetrator if I don't watch out. So you, with good intentions, you want to prevent from becoming a perpetrator. So what happens is you begin to treat every female with a special honor that no human should have. You see, you begin to treat them this way, and because of that, because you don't want to be um, attacked, you don't want to be accused because accusation can harm you emotionally. That's why whenever you hear something bad of a woman, you tend to defend the woman. You see, so that you're not being targeted. But what it does is that it arrests your development of becoming a man as God intended it to be. You always will be the the emotional slave of females just to, oh, how do I say it, to make them feel comfortable, make them feel at ease, you see. And that's also what the governments are basically enforcing on your men, is that you are obliged to make women at ease. That's why you're a man. All your strength and all your wisdom should be used to make them at ease, because in former generations, men were psychopathic, men were defective, and women suffered. See, that's the whole paradigm of feminism. And when I'm quite objective. So when I was in my 20s, like 20 years old, I decided, okay, I'm going to break this thing down. So I began to research, and I found out, hold on a minute, I could not find any historical fact or evidence that suggested the paradigm of feminism that, for example, that women were good leaders, but that men ruined it. You see, I the thing is, there is no evidence. It's not real. It's purely fabricated, and that's why most of my viewers on my channel are men, because I look at statistics. You see,
I
I
want.
tell men also
I really
that,
want to interject.
okay,
Okay, you mentioned a few things that have got to me. You said to me that feminism was an occultic issue, that it was actually created to create anarchy and destruction in this world. That it's a complete fabrication. And but did you know that feminism goes all the way back to Adam and Eve? I mean, even further back than Eve. And the Bible even talks about this in Genesis, and it's very unclear. But when you get the book of Enoch, everything becomes clear. If you grab the book of Genesis, I'll grab it right now, and I'll show you that there's a part in the book, and it starts out that, okay, it says in the book that Jesus, the Word, and God came down to earth, and they created man, but also woman.
Mm-hmm.
Woman was created with man at the exact same time. And then woman kind of vanishes in the Bible, and then Eve shows up. So where did the first woman? Where did the first woman go to?
Lilith.
Well, I can tell you where the first woman went to, and it's a very fascinating story. You see, Adam and Eve had children, right? They bore Cain and Abel and Seth. Cain had children, and he bore Enoch. Enoch is basically the grandson of Adam and Eve. And Enoch tells a story about Adam and Eve that the Bible does not even mention or even come close to mentioning. But it's the exact fulfillment that is missing in the Bible in Genesis. If you open up your Bible and if you have Genesis open, you will clearly see that it starts talking about how Jesus and God created man and woman at the same time, and then it goes right over to Eve being created by Adam and God. So what happened to the first woman? Well, according to the book of Enoch, the first woman was named Lilith. And Lilith, when it came time to procreate with Adam, refused to lay underneath Adam. She wanted to be on top. Adam did not like this, and he demanded that Lilith lay underneath him. She refused to lay underneath him and ran away. And she ran off into a lake, and she called upon the name of the Lord, and God took her away and turned her into a demon, and she took off. Now Adam is left without a woman. So God creates Adam out of the rib of out of his rib, and Adam says, "I shall call her woman because she came from me. She came from man." So what we know is that Eve came from Adam, but we don't understand there was actually a woman before her. And the feminists today worship Lilith. That's the deity that they worship. They have magazines about her. They have pagan altars about her. They are complete occultists, and they are really worshiping demons. Lilith, anyways, is a demon that swore revenge on Eve. You see, Lilith couldn't just be happy that Adam found a woman, that Adam now had Eve. Lilith swore revenge on Eve's children, to kill all of Eve's children. Or a couple of kids, anyway. Anyways, Lilith is now a demon, which is represented, by the way, in the movie Maleficent with Angelina Jolie. That demon is completely what Lilith looked like, and that is Lilith in the movie. Anyways, Lilith believes in blood sacrifice of children. She believes in abortion. She used to be called the murderer at nighttime. She would be the one that would go around killing babies inside of their cribs. And actually, there is a story of the origin of the word lullaby, that it actually comes from Lilith, bye-bye. It used to be a prayer that people told to wear off Lilith from coming into the newborn's room and taking away the child's life. So the deity Lilith and the spirit of Lilith is definitely real. It's genuine, and it's living today as feminist, and this is why we even have abortion today, because it is Lilith that loves abortion. She swore revenge on all of Eve's children, and now she's getting it through abortion.
You see, what you said about abortion, you see, for example, let's be objectively about this, okay? We have a man and a woman, they sleep together, and the woman conceives, okay? And now the woman has issues with having a child because either the man is not in his right mind, or she just wants to have fun. She doesn't want to have responsibility. So what does she do? She aborts the life of the unborn human. You see, it's really taking away the life of someone else. It's blood sacrificing someone else to get some temporal pleasure. It's the same thing that, you know, worshippers of Molech and also other demons are doing at the Bohemian Grove. It's the same thing. You see, but yet, when you say that to people outside, you say, no, you cannot talk about that. You are anti-woman. You get a whole fight. But when I say people don't look at it objectively, okay, if you say that aborting someone is all right, then it also must be all right to kill a child when he's 15 years old because you won't want that responsibility anymore. But no, people don't want to go there. Why? Because emotionally, you will be affected if you did that. Okay, but if you abort a child, there's no less emotion involved with it. They think. I say they think because many women that have abortions, years afterwards, they feel sorry, they feel regret, they are depressed because they can't reverse what they've done. So they always are haunted by the idea, what if this child would have become this? What if, you see? So they are thinking that there are no consequences. And that's why the feminist movement, you see, that's why they offer, that's why they are so pro-gay. If you notice, well, feminists are pro-lesbianism because why? When women have abortions, they need to have distractions so they won't have to deal with the pain. And what do you have? You have the gay community, you have Hollywood, Disney World. You see, it all adds up when you look at it objectively.
Yeah, I agree with you. And something that Mother Teresa said that I really agree with, she said, if it's okay for a woman to kill her unborn child, then what is it for one man to kill another man on the street? And that's very interesting if you think about it, because violence between living adults, really, abortion is so much worse than that. So if abortion's okay, then violence must be okay.
You see, the thing is, a man, for example, if you have an adult man that doesn't like someone, decides to kill him, okay, that's wrong objectively. Okay, shouldn't happen. However, that man was born, had a chance to live and experience life. Okay, that unborn kid didn't even have a chance nor a will. So this is the hypocritical thing about feminism. See, they claim they value the woman. Okay, now the woman is built to have children. Motherhood is a part of being a woman. Okay, but now you're telling girls that it is all right to kill their own child that lives inside of them. That's unhealthy. And then you want the women to blame men for them killing their child. You see, for not taking responsibility. So basically, the life of a woman matters, but only if she's born. If you're not born, your life doesn't matter. You see, it's very hypocritical. You see, when you look at it, it's contradictory.
Can I interrupt again?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Many people don't even see the bigger picture about abortion, and it's gone completely unnoticed. Many people believe that when a woman goes in and has an abortion, that they take a vacuum and suck the child out through a vacuum.
No.
It's not even what happens.
No.
The procedure is much more sinister. I don't want to talk about it too much because it is just that sinister. Anyways, they end up also chopping the body up. Okay, it's not just a simple removal of the child. It is a complete mangling of the child. They do chop the child up into thousands of pieces if they want to. They get sinister pleasure out of it. I've seen abortion clinics many times on video, and they actually took the dead infants' bodies and just stuffed them down garbage disposals. Okay, we are not talking about a procedure that is done with grace, honor, and respect. We're talking about just a nasty, psychotic horror film-ish procedure. And many of these rooms are completely unsterile. There's actually cockroaches in some of them. This is not your average medical procedure. This is back alley stuff. And having abortion is wrong. That's why it has always been back alley. And people really need to stop and consider, is having sex worth having a child? I mean, you can't... It's ridiculous, you know. It's like wanting to have the pleasure without the responsibility. You know,
well, the man has the responsibility because the man can't choose. If he gets a woman pregnant, then the woman has the baby, and he must pay money to the woman for 20 years. So you see, the man has the responsibility. The woman has no responsibility.
I understand that, but that's just man forgetting something else. The woman's got to carry this child for 9 months and then push it out. That's also a lot of pain and suffering coming our way. So if
I agree with that. I agree, but the woman can choose to abort it or choose to have it. The man has no choice.
No, hold on a minute, hold on.
Yeah, but the whole sexual act shouldn't be taking place, is my point.
You see, the thing is, let's look at this. If it happens, if a woman is raped, for example, it can happen, and I'm saying it doesn't happen. If it happens, then still abortion is wrong because that unborn child is not responsible for the action of the criminal. If you want to kill someone, I'm not saying I don't condone death penalty, but if you want to kill someone, then go after the rapist, you see. If the child is born, you can give it onto adoption. There are many people that are willing to adopt children. See, so there's no need to kill that unborn child. And then there's another thing. Most of sexual interactions are not rape. as feminists want to
No,
also believe. So
no.
basically, when a woman decides that she wants to lay with a man, she is basically like saying yes to all the consequences that will come from that action. You see? So if you're the one deciding that you want to get laid with a man, then don't complain if the man turns out to be an asshole, or if the man begins to become obsessive with you, or if you become pregnant. You see?
Exactly.
I
Learn.
mean, you
Women
see,
today just do not learn their man. They just have sex impulsively, like I said, impulse. They don't care to learn who the man is they're having sex with. All they care about is the size of the dick, the amount of cum that shoots out on their faces. They don't care who the man is they're dealing with. If he has a job, if he has a house, if he has a car, if he can take care of kids. They don't even understand that sex and pregnancy are linked together. Because if they did, they would sit there before they had sex and realize, okay, this man doesn't have much money, doesn't have a job. Could he take care of my kids? If I got pregnant by accident, could he take care of those kids? They don't even think like that. They're completely
No.
detached from reality. It's all about, does my butt look good? Are my boobs shaking nicely? And that's all they care about. And about the abortion thing, about if a woman gets raped and then has an abortion, or that the child could then be delivered to an adoption agency, we are completely forgetting medical science there. Medical science has created something called the morning after pill. And let's not forget that that pill exists. So if a woman is raped, she can simply go to the police and the doctor. First, you go to the doctor if you're raped. You let the doctor completely examine you, so that way you could take that report to the police station, right? That's the proper procedure. So if this woman has just been raped, she could also take the morning after pill. The doctor could prescribe it to her, and she would have no risk of being impregnated at all.
yes, because it takes a while before the semen enters the egg cell and it is fertilized. So it doesn't happen immediately. You know,
Exactly.
when you look at it carefully, we are not negative against women here. We're just talking about issues that shouldn't happen. For example, Words on Fire, you've mentioned that many women, not all, but many women are completely detached from reality. You see, it is true, because just think about this for a while. You see, a woman, when she's between her 16th and 30th year, that's her most fertile years. You see, and
Yes.
it's those years that she should find a mate to have children, so that when she reaches 40, her children are already in their early teenage years. Then she will have rest for the rest of her life. You see, so you see, that's how it used to go in former generations. When a girl is around 17, 18, the parents would look for a mate for her. For the till her 25th, she will have children, or till her 30th, and afterwards, when her 30 years are over, she's just mothering the children, and she has a husband to enjoy with, and she will become a grandmother. See, so she has a role and a fulfillment in life, you see. But what you have now is that you have women, they are between the 16 and 30 years old. What are they doing? They're going to college, they're sleeping around here and there, also involved with the lesbianism, and they want to make a career, they want to dominate men, and when they are in their 30s, they are basically worn out, emotionally, completely messed up, and now they want to bind themselves to a man, and many of the men are already settled, or they want anything to do with them. So basically, they've messed up their whole life's purpose. You see,
Yes.
so when you just think about it, every woman, when she's 15 or 16, also has the capacity to think about the consequences. So, and women know very well that their fertile years are short. That's why they go to parties often and dress so sexy, because now I'm fertile, now men want me. So if you're wise enough to dress up and go to clubs every weekend, using your fertility, why can't you just think that, oh, hold on, man, this fertility thing is going to be over soon. Let me make an investment that will benefit me for in the long term. You see, so it's not just that they
And,
are under a spell; they willingly are under a spell because they're living in the moment.
Exactly. Can
well,
I interrupt there for a
marriage
second?
benefits
Yes.
women way more than men. You go, Woodrum's way going.
Proverbs 14:1. The wise
Uh-huh.
woman builds her house with her own hands, but the foolish one tears it down. Proverbs 14:1.
Yes, exactly. And marriage benefits women way more than men, because for women doesn't have to work, doesn't have to worry about getting food, getting a house. For man does all that for the family, and for women it's like a parasite, has a very easy ride through life. And when she's older, she has a man and family to give her food, look after her. So I think that the traditional marriage already benefits women, and now feminism has come and poisoned marriage, polluted women, so that you just can't marry them at all now because they're going to leave you as soon as you don't do what they say, as soon as they find someone better. So women really have killed the golden goose that have laid all the eggs for them because, sorry, killed the goose that lays all the golden eggs because what marriage was for their benefit originally, and now they've just destroyed it. So they're going to have very, very miserable existence after they hit 30 or 40 because no man's going to want a 40-year-old woman, so they're going to be alone.
Do you realize that you just mentioned Adam and Eve?
I do. I was thinking of Lilith and Adam and Eve.
No, not Adam and Eve and Lilith. I was talking about Adam and Eve in general. Because
Yes.
remember what God cursed Eve with? That she would
Yes.
have severe pains and moans in her life. Oh, that's another thing. The King James says that she'll have severe pains in childbirth, but that's not true. The Septuagint actually says that she'll have great moans in her life. In other words,
Ah.
cramps every month. The
Mm.
cramps are also mentioned. But that's not the only thing. He also said that man would rule over her. What we are seeing today clearly is feminists keep saying that women should be in control, women in power. But the power for them has gone to their head, directly to their head, and this is what I said before in my video about the spirit meter. We all know what spirit meters are, right? It's a thing you put
Yeah.
down on the table to see the table's level, and there's a little bubble in there. Correct? Spirit meter?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this spirit meter, if you go to the left, let's call that ego. And then you can go to the right. We can call that humility, being humble. What happens is women are born nowadays already in ego. They are raised in ego. And we as men have to slowly bring them back to being humble. And that's the man's job in this world. But thanks to feminism and constantly encouraging the ego side, men have no option and no ability anymore to drag a woman over to being humble. It's not
No.
possible. As much as attempts as you bring, the feminists slam them right back. And I blame those TV shows like Sex and the City. That was one of the worst feminist shows that ever came out, man. That was just completely empowering to women. But this empowerment to females is not good. It's an evil empowerment. It's destroying them. And they're so in love with the power. It completely reminds me of the scene of Lord of the Rings, where Frodo tries to hand the elf queen the ring. She tries to take the ring from him, and then as soon as he tries to grab it, she becomes completely demonically possessed. It's too much power for her, and she refuses to take the ring. It's what happens with females now. Females are already born in original sin, correct? We all know that humans are born in original sin, but females' original sin is a lot worse than men. So they're already born in ego. Men are lucky to be born in humility. We are born in humility. We do things in our life that set us off the ego side, or we do stuff that makes us, that we slowly develop an ego. But when we are born, we are pretty much born right down the middle. We can either become humble or we can become people that live in ego. But females really are born in ego. And due to that, they can never come to the humility side. It's a greater step for them. And that's what God says too. God says that females must be redeemed because they are born in ego. Men are born in humility or ego, right down the middle. You see the redemption there for females?
You see, the thing is, I'm going to continue what Wars on Fire said. You see, for example, I'm going to give a short illustration now to point out what I'm trying to say. Let's say you have a car. You've bought a new car. It's a beautiful car, all right? If it's, you have different types of cars. There are cars that drive on gasoline, some drive on diesel, okay? So you need to have a certain amount of knowledge to know what kind of car it is, what kind of vehicle it is, how to handle it, and how to optimally make the benefit of the vehicle. You see, you cannot just pour water or whatever in it and expect it to run. You see, you will ruin the whole car. You see, and that's the thing basically. What feminism basically is doing now, they're trying to redesign the woman different than how God intended her to be. And you see, the thing is, they can't do it. You see, if God appointed the man as the head of the household, so he is the head of the household. That's the design of the man. That's the design of the woman. So if you can brainwash people that there are no differences between the sexes and that women can be dominant leaders. Also, you can you can repeat it over and over again. You're not changing the design. So of course, when you don't go according to the design, You can do something with the community, but you will wreck it completely.
But who is the one that wants to change the design?
I have to say it must be. You see, let me say this. Feminists want to change it, but I call the spiritual root is Satan himself. He wants to become God, so he wants to pervert the design of God to match his own corruption.
Exactly.
That's the root of it. Because if you read Genesis also, see, the Most High said he will put war between him and the woman. He did not say between you and the man, between you and the woman. So when you think about it, women tend to get after men to get attention from men. You see, okay, that's natural. That's a natural urge. But what women often tend to do is they tend to become like a parasite and to suck all the life out of a man. You see, and that's why men need to restrain women to do not do it. At the same time, Satan wants to do the same thing the woman is doing because just what you just said. If in marriage a woman is taken care of when she's older, she has children, everyone who's taking care of her, Satan wants that. He wants to replace the woman with himself. So that's the war Satan has with females. The thing is, this whole sodomite agenda, Satan himself is a sodomite. That's why he's addressed as the Queen of Heaven, you see. And that's why Satan wants all the affection and adoration of men, and he's basically using women through feminists and all those means to get it. And after the women are older, he basically dumps them or kills them. You see, that's what I want to point out. So when you look at feminism, there's a whole spiritual agenda behind it. You see, and if you're not,
Yes.
if you don't if you don't read the Bible, you cannot recognize patterns when they appear before you.
Exactly.
So,
That's exactly right. And that's what I've been trying to preach people for the last 3 years, that everything in this world has a heritage that comes from the Bible. Everything in this world has a heritage that comes directly from the Bible because we all come from Adam and Eve. We all come from Noah. We are all one.
yes, and the thing is, I'm glad you started about it, Forza Fire. I'm really glad you began about we are all one, because when you look at it, you see the world wants to have unity right now with the New World Order, Illuminati, all of that. But the thing is, their unity is a fantasy, okay? Because
Yes, it is.
let's be practical here. There are 7 billion humans walking around, kind of, okay? 7 billion. You see, we are divided in countries, provinces. There are a lot of divisions, and in all those divisions, there are problems, strife, and jealousy. You see,
Yeah,
so
all caused by the United Nations, by the way. The United Nations are the one that put up all these borders and caused all these problems, which was deliberately done by Satan himself, who runs the United Nations.
true.
I had to get that out.
Now it's good that you're interjecting, and I have no problem with it. But you just think about it. If you are making a division and it's already going bad, then if you unify all divisions, you're going to get one great mess. So the
Yes.
whole New World Order plan, if you just if a child would just sit down here, all the facts, a child would say this is a fantasy, this is going wrong. You see, so that's why to those that are following Christ, both men and women, I encourage them to not be afraid nor intimidated with the New World Order and all of that, because okay, they do have a certain amount of power and they do harm, but basically they're harming themselves more than they are harming you. Because remember, you are redeemed in Christ. So
I
even
really
so,
want to. Sorry, I really want to
okay,
interject again. You keep calling it the New World Order, but it's not a New World Order. We already had this order once in the past, and God destroyed it.
yes, in
And now they're trying
Babylon.
to rebuild it again. I hate people calling it the New World Order. I mean, I'm going to make a new term today, and we're going to call it reversism. And I want everybody to understand, whenever you see something that seems reverse from reality, that is the devil moving in front of you. That is literally the devil moving in front of you. If you see something in backwards that doesn't seem normal from reality, if you have reality, that is reality. It cannot be altered. If something seems to be abnormal to it, that is the devil walking in front of you.
True. It's plain and
Can I
simple.
just say, can I just say about the New World Order? I know you hate it, but Hitler wrote a book called Mein Kampf, and he
Yeah.
also wrote a book called New World Order. So it's not new at all. It's
No, it's
definitely
not. It's
been
Old
around
War.
since
But
way
it's
before it
not
as
New Age
well.
religion either. It's old age
No.
old age witchcraft.
You see, no, I understand why they call it new. You see, the thing is, it's a psychological impact. You see, if
Yeah,
you call it
yeah.
new, it means there's improvement, there's relief. That's what new implies. If you buy a new car, it means it's a fresh car. You can start, there is some excitement attached to it. That's why they call it new, because they know if you call it old, people think, okay, if it's old, why are you going to give me something old? See, but when you look at it, you see, just like Words of Christ said, it's basically Babylon trying to rebuild it again. And the thing is, what you also said, if something is reversed from reality, it's basically the devil operating. You see, and this is it. As I mentioned before, the heart, or you call the subconscious mind, cannot distinguish between truth or fiction. So that's why the Bible says guard your heart. And what guarding heart also implies is we need to unlearn and let go of all the reverseism that we've received. Because you see, this is how Satan reverses reality. He gives, for example, with feminism. You see, he puts a woman in a position of power, and on the surface everything appears right. So you begin to accept it, but it's a perversion. Perversions. You see, so but we often look only at the surface. You see, but that's why the Bible says we need to walk by faith and not by sight. You see, because if you walk by sight, you can be you're basically walking by impulses through your senses, and that goes to your emotions, to your unconscious mind, and that's what the enemy is using to basically stir people into doing things they would never do. You see, and that's why the music is so hypnotic also these days.
May I interject really quick there?
Yes.
The devil does not come in a red cloak and pointy pitchfork. He comes in every desire that you ever wanted. He will use every emotion that you have against you. He will use all your dirty thoughts against you. He will use everything he can against you. If you have a hunger, he will fill it. If you have a lust, he will make sure it gets fulfilled. He will do everything in this world to make you feel like you are fulfilled. Look at celebrities today. They want to be worshipped. They want to be rich. They want to be powerful. That's exactly what he gives them. Because even Christ says very simple, the rich receive their rewards on earth, while the righteous receive them in heaven. In other words, we build up rewards for heavenly life, while they get to live out their little paradise for the maximum of 100 years, and then they go off to hell.
You see, it's a reward indeed, but it's what you define as a paradise, because yes, they have physical. You see, this is how Satan basically works. He comes with emotional and physical gratification that is so intense, like drugs, alcohol, and all of that, and you feel as if it's heaven, but it's only a counterfeit heaven. You see, besides all those happy moments during the weekend or sometimes during the week, you have all this garbage you have to process. You see, and we often on television they don't show you all the garbage they're dealing with. They only show you the spotlight, the glamour, the glamour, and all of that. You see, and that's why also the Bible says do not envy the rich. You see, because most rich people, not all, but most rich people, they became rich by getting involved with the devil. Let's be realistic about it.
I have a really great idea for a television show. The best television show that would ever exist. You want to hear what it's called?
It's called
Celebrity Nighttime. And we're going to put cameras in front of every celebrity and watch them sleep at night. And we'll hear how they're screaming in pain. We will hear how they can't sleep because they're too afraid of demons attacking them. And we will finally see the truth about the celebrity. The celebrity who always needs to have painkillers to sleep at night. The celebrity that needs to have morphine to sleep. You see, folks, when you are demon-possessed, they come at you at nighttime. And you never see the celebrity at nighttime before they go to bed. But if you looked at what's-her-face Lady Gaga, she actually has two men standing in her room while she sleeps, and she needs somebody to always keep her guard because she's afraid demons are going to attack her. They are riddled with demons. And like God says too, the evil will have their sleep reduced and taken away from them. It's a punishment. If you can't sleep at night, it's because your conscience is making you not sleep. It's so simple.
You see, and this is the most strange part to me because I'm really confounded by this. You see all the celebrities showing off all their good life, and now think about this, okay? If celebrities have such a good life, then why are they so secretive? You see, if you have nothing to hide and everything is well with you, you can easily just show it. You see, but they only show you, for example, I don't know, some of you used to watch MTV Cribs when you were younger. I used to. They would show basically the houses that the rappers, all those people entertained. It's always in a brand new state. You see, if you live in a house, things must be used. Things will get old. You see, and then the thing is, folks, many people have an obsession with new stuff. New stuff. They're basically addicted to how do I say? They're addicted to improvement. They call it development, but it's really they're going after something that they basically don't exist. For example, I'm going to talk about Kabbalah very quickly because we're talking about feminism and how women are basically being messed up today. See, this whole feminism thing is related to the Kabbalah teaching, and the Kabbalah teaches that through sexual exploitation you will attain eternal life. You will attain a higher state of consciousness in the spirit. You see,
Yep.
and that's basic. You don't see the connection, but when I studied the Kabbalah a bit, I will study the symbols and all that. I realized, hold on a minute, that's what we are being fed today. People, human beings are spirit beings. You see, so we always have this spiritual urge to be spiritual. You see, but what they're telling us is that through sexual exploitation, you will get a higher state. You see, and that's what many women also. That's the forbidden fruit that basically the poisonous fruit that women are now taking. They're thinking is if I put makeup on and make myself like a goddess, ooh, men are going to treat me well, everything's going to be fine. No, it's not. No, it really isn't. And the thing is, I don't see many people stand up and question this whole Kabbalah thing. Okay, it gives you a lot of pleasure, but hello, how can sexual exploitation give you a higher state of consciousness? It's really insane that but that's how it is. Satan comes with a story to you, and because the story sounds so great, you accept the whole content. That's why I always lay back when I hear, okay, you can interject.
Have you noticed how the makeup companies have kept it up with the female's desire to be more prettier and more prettier and more prettier? How science has been able to keep up with female demand to look more hotter and sexier, and yet all the people behind this are probably men in the chemistry labs creating all these special items for them to keep constantly making themselves look newer and newer and newer.
Yeah, man. The thing is, when you look, let me just point it out like this, okay? When you read the Bible, because I read the Bible, in Psalms 103, it talks about how God renews the youth, or your youth as that of an eagle. So basically, when you're walking in the power of God, the power of God Himself will renew your youth. So even when you're in your old age, you will still be fresh and you will be healthy. You see?
Yes,
But
look at Moses.
So what those celebrities are going after is promised in the book. But the thing is, they want to remove God, do it on their own terms, so that they can boast all the time. And the thing is, that's why they get attached to all those addictions. Because let's be clear, if a man decides that he wants, because there are also men that are messed up. If a man decides he wants to become the alpha male, he wants to he wants to perform in order to remain young, he will get a lot of Jezebels behind him that will plug him, and he will probably die prematurely. So the thing is, the women often are protected, but the men aren't. So what I'm doing on my channels, I also talk to men often. I'm not blaming them. I tell them, get right with the Lord, because everything you could ever desire is contained in the book. Everything, you see.
Yep.
But the thing is, people just, just interject.
No, I don't have to. I was just wondering if our buddy here, Paranormal Micto, fell asleep yet or not. Because it's pretty late.
No, I'm listening. I don't have any specific improvements to make or any comments, so just keep going. I
have a great comment.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, this is one directly from Dr. Kent Hovind, and he says very simple. If a person has $1 million, what do they want to mostly have? More money. If a person collects a lot of shoes, what do they want to have? More shoes. If a drug addict takes a drug and then doesn't have the drug anymore, what do they want to have? More drugs. I mean, it's very clear that this world will never satisfy. People are looking for fucking satisfaction that they cannot find, and they're seeking it through materialism, and they're not seeking it through the Lord. And I'm telling you, since I found the Lord, I have for once in my life been satisfied. And I'm not just talking satisfied just spiritually or emotional or physically. I mean, I'm talking full-fledged, satisfied. I mean, every urge has been subdued now. Everything, it's. I'm no longer craving anything that I don't need. But demons will
No.
always make you hungry. They'll make you crave certain things, certain behaviors, certain things. Like if you're addicted to internet porn, it's a great example. Pornography is a great example. You always start off with soft porn, and you end up with hardcore porn. You take drugs, you end up on hardcore drugs. You make $10 million, you want to make $100 million. If you know, you always got to go extreme. Look at people that collect bunny rabbits and stuff like that, porcelain dolls. Their whole house is filled with them. Look at people that collect action figures. Their whole houses are filled. They're never satisfied. And that's what the Lord says. You're never going to be satisfied on this planet until you actually submit to Him. So
Well, see, the thing is, the physical realm was never designed to satisfy you. You see, and
No.
And that's what people don't get. You are a spirit being with a soul living in a body, so primarily you should be connected to the Most High. And then all the other realms will follow. You see, that's why the Lord Jesus said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added onto you." Now, what the world does, the world turns around. You need to look for all those other things, and then mystically you'll have a kingdom where you will have fulfillment. That's basically what they're doing.
yeah, that kingdom where you're the Christ.
Yeah, you see, the thing about, for example, we've talked about a lot of issues that are going on now. The thing is, folks need to become more spiritually minded, because the thing is, if you are only focusing on what's going on, you will not see what's really going on behind the scenes. You see, because let's, for example, I make a lot of videos about spiritual warfare. You see, about evil spirits, unclean spirits, how they attach themselves, how to get rid of them, and all of those. And when you look at it carefully, most of the conventions the world has, you see, they are, for example, I'm going to give an illustration. You have a husband and a wife who are fighting all the time. They have an unhappy marriage. Okay, they go to a counselor. So the counselor decides to talk with the husband first, and the husband makes clear, I'm always working and doing whatever I can provide for her, but she's unhappy. Okay, then the counselor says, okay, I'm going to talk with the woman. Okay, then the woman says, okay, the woman claims that he doesn't have much time for her. Okay, so the counselor then decides to analyze all the arguments. He puts them together and sees, hold on, this is a monster. This is a great story, but it doesn't add up. You see, and when you look, for example, when you look at every culture, you can go to every culture, whether it's the Dutch culture, American culture, Japanese culture. All cultures, they have stories that don't add up. And this is what I'm telling to people. The moment you surrender yourself and attach yourself to a story that doesn't add up, you've already opened yourself for evil forces to enter you or to become attached to you. You see? And the thing is, many people are defending stories that cannot be backed up by reality. And the thing is, because they're so...
You're breaking up. You're breaking up very badly. I'm having trouble understanding you.
Do I have to go slower, or... Do I have to go slower, or...
I don't know. You're breaking up. Like, it's very, very hard to understand you. I'm not sure how to improve your connection.
Okay. Look, what I basically said was people are attached to stories that don't add up. You see, and on my channel, if you ever visit my channel, I'm basically doing that. You see, it's easy to talk about feminism and about what they call the old world order that wants to come back. But I want people to check in their personal lives close to home to the stories they are following. Because, listen, if the stronghold that's in your heart, if that is removed, then the spirits don't have anything to be attached to you. And you'll be surprised how fast circumstances will change. See what many people throw.
But she was basically saying that if you lie or break any of the Ten Commandments, you're basically opening up yourself for a giant can of whoop ass by any spirit that feels like entering you because you broke your connection to God during that moment when you decided to lie, cheat, or steal, or kill.
That's basically what it adds up to. Basically, because if you look at every illusion in the world, it's all based upon having God out of your life and replacing God with something that ain't real. So basically, every time you attach yourself to iniquity, you're basically attaching yourself to a machine, an emotional or mental machine that goes on and on and on. And the thing is, you're being lied to that you have control over that machine, but you don't. But what God is doing is, God is saying, hand your life over to me, and now you can use my wisdom and my understanding to operate. You see, and you see that's real power. But what Satan offers is counterfeit power. And see, counterfeit power always runs out of its resources very quickly. And that's why you have all these prohibitions in cultures to never question authority, to always follow authority, to always put authority on a kind of a divine throne. And because you never question authority, you see, you're basically being, how to say, you're being messed up in your soul more and more until your skull is scalped and you've become a reprobate and there's no more hope for you. See, because I've talked a lot about reprobation also.
Proven by evolution being introduced to schools. Nobody ever stopped it. It was against Christianity, and they still allowed it. Evolution came into schools, and everybody was being taught it, and they're still being taught it today, even though the theory is a crackpot theory.
Nothing exploded, and here we all are.
Exactly.
Come on, man. I mean, seriously, if you teach children that you have to agree with nothing exploded, and now we're all here, then that messes up the child's mind, because now the child is being taught not to think objectively. See, so if people can...
Have you heard of the building called CERN in Switzerland?
I've heard of it. They're trying to open some portal, I believe.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, what it's really about is they are trying to open a spirit gate so that their god, their hero, can enter in and walk freely into this dimension. See, but in order to do this, they need negative energy. So they need people to be upset and depressed all the time because evil spirits are feeding themselves out of negative energy. You see? So they've built the machine, they've built the portal, but now they need the civil wars, the race wars, and all of those things in order to, so that the antimatter, because negative energy is also called antimatter, they want antimatter to increase. So when all the antimatter is increased in the worlds, now the machine is empowered, and there the Antichrist walks in. Now, of course, the Antichrist is a spirit, but he will use a human vessel.
Fascinating theory you have there, that you say that it's run by evil. I actually didn't think about that, but now it's like, whoa, ka-ching, that's actually quite true. And it also reminds me of the movie Ghostbusters. If you all remember, there was that in the movie The Ghostbusters, that slime that fed off the evil of people, and it created a whole bunch of people fighting. And I mean, even back then, the movie Ghostbusters was talking about antimatter, and that actually makes sense that the machine would be run on people's hatred and opening up the gate. That actually makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that. Thanks for that theory.
If you read the book of, if you read the book of Revelations, I believe the Revelation chapter, I don't know, maybe 16 or 17, it talks about the bottomless pit being opened, all these strange animals coming out of it. See, that's basically what they're trying to do. See, because look at this carefully. If you open a Stargate is a spiritual portal so that demons can enter in. If you need that negativity around a Stargate in order to open it, and you need to maintain it. The thing is, when you have all those race wars and all World War III and all the things going on, when they open that gate and all those demons can freely just walk around, the antimatter will only increase explosively on the earth. So what you will have is that you will have people that are already negatively attached, they're going to explode. So you will have complete chaos and bloodshed and ruination you will have. So, and that's why they have a police state. That's why they're thinking, okay, we're going to open this portal, we're going to endanger everyone on the earth, but it's okay, we have our military police here, they can handle it if anything happens. And the thing they are forgetting is those police officers and those military men, they're also humans, they also have antimatter. Yeah. So the thing is about CERN, I'm glad, Wars on Fighters, you've mentioned it. It's prophesied in scripture, you see, and CERN is just an attempt to open a Stargate. The Stargate is going to get opened. You need expect this. There's going to be massive manslaughter, over and over again, everywhere. You see, things are really going. You will have cities in ruin. You will have more wasteland here and there. So people are focused upon Islam. Okay, well, Islam is used by Satan himself, but Satan is also using other things in our midst that we are not aware of. For example, many people think that CERN is some scientific development. No, it's not, because they can never mention any benefit that will benefit mankind from using that machine. They can't.
Exactly. I agree.
So,
Totally.
so about CERN, I'm not really bothered about it. I'm because I have faith, I'm safe. What I do tell people is that you need to get rid of negative energy out of your life, because I don't care if you're just a little negative. Negative is negativity. When that gate is opened and all those negative, all those antimatter is exploding, you're not going to be really human anymore. You're going to be completely taken over. You will basically become like a Nephilim. See, and that's also incorporated with the mark of the beast. You see, because let me say that the mark of the beast, there are many layers to it. You see, you need to be negative in order to be attached to the mark of the beast. Because if you're not negative, you will not accept the mark. So if they open that Stargate and all those entities are walking through, people that are negative, they won't be able to think as humans anymore. They will accept everything that's evil, everything. You see.
But it also says when the pit is opened, that people that are marked by Christ and God will be protected from this. But
true, indeed.
Sorry?
It's true, indeed. We are going to be marked.
But there's also going to be scorpion-like creatures coming out of the pit that are going to sting people, and people are going to be begging for death and not receive it. The death will pass them by.
You see, that can be easily explained. You see, when because demons, those Nephilim spirits, they need bodies in order to express their power. You see, when there is less negative energy in an area, they can possess a body, but they can't do much with the body. For example, if you go to Texas or to some place where you have a great Christian community and someone is possessed, the demons can't do very much. But if you go to Los Angeles or to Amsterdam, where homosexuality is rampant, okay, now the demons can do much with the body. So see like this: when the spirit portal is open and all those antimatters are floating around, you see, those demons can enter you, and those demons can use supernatural power upon your body that you won't die. You see, such things are happening. So when those demons are in you, those demons don't want the body to go.
I have noticed with the homosexuals, man, that they bring a whole different spirit along with them. When they go down their gay prides, man, their parades, man, they really have a spirit with them that is not pleasant.
Oh boy, you uploaded a terrible video of boys dancing at some Brazilian pride festival. I was deeply shocked by that one.
Yeah, the spirit of it is pretty bad, huh? You can actually
I was really shocked because having young boys dancing sexually is a very wicked and evil thing to do at a pride festival.
Yeah, it reminds me right of Sodom right away.
God. Wow.
The thing is, guys, you remember this. The demons, when they enter a body, they will protect the body so that they will remain in the body as long as they need the body. So look, you have many homosexuals that are going around doing what they want, but they don't get AIDS. They do get AIDS, but they don't get sick. And then you think, how can it be? It's common for homosexuals to have over 100,000 strangers. They're doing it with it. Some even go to 10,000. I'm seriously around there. So the thing is, many of them are still walking around is only because those unclean spirits are protecting that vessel. Because the moment those unclean spirits leave them, all the physical consequences will manifest and they'll be gone within maybe a few weeks. So and the reason why spirits are doing it is to confuse people to think that there are no consequences for sinning. You see, because when you see that someone is obviously living a wicked lifestyle and they're fine, you think, well, the Bible must be wrong. No, you don't see the spiritual agenda behind it. So always remember that when you see wicked people and they're prospering, it's only because the evil spirits are protecting that vessel. It's not because that individual is all right.
We have a new
Yes,
commentary.
I agree.
We have a new comment here from user Jonathan Rye, who wrote the word "yeah." I'm not sure why he wrote the word "yeah," but welcome, Jonathan, to the conversation.
Yeah, if people can write just a sentence or something, it's easier for us to know what you mean. It's kind of hard when you talk about 10 subjects in a couple of minutes to know which one you're talking about.
Exactly. And we are
Now,
pretty much going through the whole. I mean, we pretty much give you guys in Bible education on the fulfillment of the entire Bible within 2 hours. We are really good at
Mm.
what we're talking about. We know exactly what we're talking about, and we talk in very deep detail, things you'll never hear in church.
when you began about church now, you see, many churches are in contract with the state. You see, because
Yep.
many churches, because this is also a deception. You see, Christ said that we have to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's true. Okay. What Christ also said is that we have to shake the dust off our feet if they reject us and are hostile towards us. You see? So what Christ basically saying is that you cannot be at peace with everyone. However, that part is often omitted. You see? So now you have churches that want to agree with, the agenda in order to keep harmony. And we think we're doing the right thing. You see? So that's why in many churches, when it comes to the root issues, they tend to avoid it. You see, I used to go to a church, and when it came talking about sodomy, the pastor said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Leave it unto God. They should just love those people." And people began to shout of joy when he said it. And I was thinking, hold on a minute. This is a very sick issue that harms a lot of people. We need to address it and break this down. But the pastor, was more interested in the temporal praise of men than into pleasing the Lord. You see, I just wanted to point that out. You guys still there?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we're still here. I
I'm,
mean,
I'm looking up an internet link.
yeah, I don't know what to say really. If your church is not following the Bible, you can't stay forever and forever try and get them to change their minds. You kind of are going to have to leave if the church is not going to follow the Bible, but there still could be other people there who agree with you, and you can just meet them and do private Bible study. But I'm beginning to see that God's pulling me out of churches that aren't on fire, that aren't following the Bible, because if I stay, my faith could become polluted or could become somehow worse because I'm not around people who are being correct, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to share a screen for a second. I hope you all enjoy what I'm going to show you. I think it's
Okay.
pretty accurate towards today. So it's a scene from a movie called Little Nicky, and we were just talking about it. I think it's quite funny. Listen to this sentence. Wait. Let me just fast forward it. Here. This. Yeah. This. I don't know if you can hear what he says.
No, the volume's very low. I can't
Okay.
hear it
I'll
much.
repeat what he says.
Okay.
I'm so proud of you. You've taken the sin with such minimum ease. You're acting as if there's no heaven or hell. But I got news for you. There is most definitely a hell. And you're all going to go there when you die. And it's and then they basically all run away because they finally realized that the devil is real. So basically, it's a story about New York City and the people there. They're becoming more sinful and more sinful and more sinful, and their local ministers are telling them to start worshiping Satan and let the sin begin. Go out and do whatever the hell you want to. And they find out that there's a party going to happen in New York City and that Satan's going to show up. So they all rush to the party thinking that it's all this make-believe and all make-believe. and they're seeing all these miracles and wonders happen, and they all think it's all make-believe until the very ending when the devil finally stands up and says there really is a hell, and that's when they finally realize that it's really the devil. And I think that's a good point in this world today, because when you look at this world today, there are so many evil things going on, and yet these people continuously go down the path, go down the path, go down the path. They don't believe there is a hell. I mean, they see hellish things every single day, but they still don't believe there is a hell. It's just amazing. It's like they really believe today that there is no consequence for their sin because they are stuck in the great delusion of evolution, where the strongest will survive, the strongest and the fittest. You can't do no wrong. There is no sin. God is not real. I'm an atheist. I'm an agnostic. God is not real. If God was real, please show me where he's at. If God was real, show me where he's at. Look, in the Old Testament, your God is a very angry God. I hear all this stuff every single day.
Now, you see, I want to go into that. You see, when you read the Old Testament, you see, many of those people that God was addressing were hardened psychopaths, hardened sinners, you see. And the thing is, God is real. If someone is unrepentant and they are truly have become demonic and dangerous, you cannot address them as a common man anymore.
Exactly.
And the thing is, and God is always has been loving. Both in Old Testament and New, he never changes, he's immutable. The thing is, people just don't read carefully. You see, look, for example, during the time of the prophet Jeremiah, it was a trend, a fashion to kill babies on altars, throw them in a certain valley just to get some worldly power from some spirit. You see, those things were common then. So are you telling me that God has to become kind and ask them politely to stop doing it? No. Those people don't want to change, and God has to protect the future generation. God has brought evil upon them. Yeah, it's necessary.
He did the exact same thing. He did the exact same thing on Mount Sinai. You know, when Moses came down the mountain with the Ten Commandments, Moses said, whoever's with Jehovah, stand over here, and if you're with the God of that golden calf, go stand over there. And then God wiped them out. He purified the land. And that's what we are no longer doing. And that's something I used to think, why aren't we doing that? We should be purifying the land constantly. We should be continuously cleansing out the flock if we need to. Put the sinners in jail where they belong. I mean, today we got a lot of more innocent people in jail and more convicts out of jail on the street. And that's not right. The crazies are taking over the asylum nowadays.
Definitely.
And the thing is, you see, when you look at the Old Testament, for example, if you look at the penal system that the Hebrews had, it was redemptive. You see, only in extreme cases, people were cut off from the community. In other cases, they were put in a camp and they had to learn a skill and be productive for the community. So you had basically a welfare system that was beneficial even when things went wrong with you. You see, so with the system we have today, we just put people behind the bars and forget about them. That's not biblical. So even in the Old Testament that they call harsh, there was a redemptive social structure that was beneficial for everyone, also economically. However, people only look at, misinterpret certain scriptures, and they point the finger at Christians, say, your God is cruel, blah, blah, blah. Your God is homophobic. Hold on, did you read the whole thing? No, then read it again. You see, because if you go to scripture, the Old Testament basically refers to the New Testament, to the covenant in the blood of Jesus. When you understand that, then you can understand everything in context. And by the way, the Old Testament is also giving examples of what people did that we should not repeat. Okay, just also as a guide for us to show, okay, this is not how we should be doing it. You see,
exactly, but, like slavery.
Yeah, for example, slavery was also not condoned. God didn't agree with it. However, God allows the children of Israel to experience for themselves that it shouldn't be right. And even though they made regulations for slavery, they always broke it because you cannot redeem something that is out of itself evil. You see, and now the New Testament came and Jesus showed himself who he is. So the Old Testament, Jesus fulfilled the law by making clear that he is our righteousness. So now we have to let go of all the old garbage of self-effort and follow Christ. You see, this is the role of the Old Testament. It is true, but it refers to the New. In this way, atheists are often aware of this, but they've rejected God anyway. So they're using the ignorance of the people just to point out, to discredit God. But you see, but that's why when you are have the gift of the Spirit, you can understand, for example, that when an army went out and slaughtered people, those were human beings in face of human danger with their own knowledge, and there was no other way. They didn't have they didn't have the gospel back then yet. So the gospel came later.
Speaking of human beings, let's talk about the psychology of human beings, and let's start with the ancient Hebrews. How they were freed from the Pharaoh by Moses, how they crossed the water because of God, and how they continuously complained they didn't have enough water and food. And let's just look at humanity. These are people that interacted directly with God, and yet they still didn't believe in God. I mean, I'm just thinking if the ancient Hebrews back then did not believe in God, despite the fact that He parted the ocean for them, supplied them with meat and food and bread and water, and took care of them while they walked through that desert. And every single day they had a tornado to follow, and at nighttime they had a tornado with fire to follow. If those people could not believe in God, what chance do people have today?
You see, the thing is, it basically comes down to the following. You see, the many of the ancient Hebrews, they were only focused upon their temporal circumstances, upon their impulses, you see. And that's why when their impulses were gratified, they were for God. When their impulse appears if God was led, they followed their impulses, you see. And for Moses and the remnant among them, they had a trust in the Most High. They were in covenant with Him.
I understand that, but there came a time where the Hebrews said, let us speak to your God. And God spoke to them, and they were telling Moses to shut up their God because he was too loud. See, they actually had every interaction. They were fed by God. They were spoken to by God. They were led by God. They had all these interactions with God. And yet, as soon as God left, as soon as Moses left and didn't come back for 40 days, they turned. How could humanity be so stupid?
Can I give you my opinion on that?
Yeah.
If you remember Adam and Eve, they both saw God, they walked with God, they knew God existed, and yet Eve was still able to be tempted by the devil to disobey God, and Adam followed her, as we know. So it's not so much that the ancient Hebrews, they did know that God existed, but they were just tempted by the devil to leave him. It was just another temptation, like Eve fell in the Garden of Eden. And also, those people were slaves. It took 40 years for Moses to lead them into the new free land. So that's like a generation. The older people had to die off, and the young ones had to come up who weren't enslaved anymore. So that was a big part of it as well.
Exactly. But God always fed them and always took care of them.
Yeah.
And
the devil tempted them. The devil was a very tricky, unbelievably wise person who knows how to manipulate people.
So is it just me, or is it this generation only that understands that God is a father, that He is the Father? Because the Hebrews didn't see Him as a father. They seen Him as a God, a deity. I see Him as a father. How do you guys see Him?
You see, of course, He is the Father, because the word makes clear. And I've mentioned about the ancient Hebrews. You see, the ancient Hebrews didn't. What it basically comes down to, they did not want to let go of their imaginations that they had in Egypt, their false securities. They were projecting their false securities upon the Most High. You see, that's why they wanted to have a law to abide by instead of having God's grace guiding them. You see, and the thing is. And the thing that's the same you have today. Only today we have more information to empower us to let go of our false securities. You see, and that's why people today that refuse the gospel, they are in more danger than, for example, the ancient Sodom and Gomorrah, because they didn't have all of these provisions. You see, so and on the one hand, I can understand the behavior of the ancient Hebrews. It is still wrong. However, I surely cannot understand the behavior of people today in this time and era, because they have no excuse and no outlay whatsoever. You see, so in this age and days, either they turn completely psychopathic quickly, or they run to the Lord. Because when you read in the book of Daniel, it also talks that knowledge will increase in the end times, and that many will be purified, but that the wicked will act wickedly. So yes, there will be people.
Exactly. That's exactly what we are seeing today. That is exactly what we're seeing. I mean, Sodomites were bad, and Gomorrans were bad. But I bet you hands down today we defeat them in evil. I mean, they were. I don't think they were as evil as we are today, man. I mean, we are
You
really
see,
evil. We kill people for shoes, and we kill each other for iPods, and it's really bad. And drugs and
Yeah, I
gangs and
agree.
you see, if at the resurrection, I dare to tell you that those ancient Gomorrhians and Sodomites, when those men and women are raised up at the resurrection, and they will see throughout human history, they'll be very shocked when they look at this generation, for sure.
yeah, I
Because
guarantee it.
I mean, seriously, many of them will be with mouths open, thinking, "Hold on, you have gay marriage? Hold on, don't you understand that if you're unnatural, it's unnatural, but yet you guys have." You see, they're going to. That's why I'm telling you. There's more a possibility that some ancient Gomorrhians are saved than many of those gay supporters today. You see, as the Bible says, in the end times, iniquity will be intensified. So yes, this generation is far more evil than the previous ones because we willingly let go of restraint.
Yes, and as I often say, God almost owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology because the world today is so much worse and God hasn't destroyed it. But I know Wardrum's Fire doesn't like me saying that, but that's just my little
Well,
saying.
it is true, but it's harsh, but it's true.
Yeah.
No, no,
Generation that is, it makes Sodom and Gomorrah look like I don't know, like little
I don't
Girl
know.
Scouts.
no,
Yeah.
but look at this, okay? And during that time, humanity after the flood began to multiply. So God had to make a firm statement that He will not tolerate this. You see, so we have that example till this day. You see, so basically, God will deal with the end times differently than He did with those ancient cities, but it will not be less severe. It will be harder because now it's not fine from having coming devouring them. They will devour themselves and collapse everything. You see, because they can say that God was cruel and harsh with Sodom and Gomorrah, but now God has given them over to their reprobate mind, and their own cruelty will finish off with themselves. So they
I'm
cannot point the finger anymore.
I want to say something. I have never in the Bible read a moment where I thought God was cruel and harsh. All I've ever seen is a God that loved us all very much, and He tried to keep us pure when other people were attacking Him. He protected us, and I love Him for that. Uh,
That's 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 very interesting because I don't see God as evil or terrible or harsh. I see men as evil and terrible to each other. If men listened to what God said, there wouldn't be war, there wouldn't be famine, hunger. It's men who are evil and terrible, not God.
yes,
Yes,
exactly.
that's true, but you know how the world is turning things upside down, and they're always blaming
Mm,
someone else for their evil. So they always blame their victims, you see, and that's why Christ crucified is such an offense to them because God at the cross is basically showing to mankind, this is what you did to me, but this is how great I
mm,
am. I love you despite it all. So
mm,
it really shows to the sinners from you're not as powerful as you think. Even though you did this to me, I've let you do all that you can. You're defeated. I'm more powerful. I'm risen. You see. So that's the message that the Christ crucified gives to the reprobates. That's why they hate it so much because thing is they want to become God. They want to be in control, and God is making clear all the evil that you can think of. I'm far ahead of you. You see.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
so that's why I tell everyone, put your trust in Christ Jesus and His finished work. Always go back to Him. Don't go to other Christians. Don't go to yourself. Go to Christ because whatever you're dealing with in your life, God is far ahead of it. You see? And
yes.
the thing is, He cannot be corrupt because He's self-existent. You see? The only way you can become corrupt is if you need something. Because if you need something, your need can be used against you. But God does not have any needs. So there is no darkness in Him. So every time He acts right. So that's why you can trust Him, you see. But you cannot trust anyone else because anyone else can be corrupted. He's not. So
I trust Him for a whole different reason.
hmm,
I don't trust Him because I know that everything He does is righteousness. I don't trust Him because I know that He is the epitome of love. I don't trust Him because I know that I can trust Him. I know that He is the Creator. He created me, and He could take me out at any time He wants to. So I am very lucky to have Him in my life, and I don't even have to trust Him. I just am with Him. I mean, it's like Christians, they read the Bible and they go, "Oh, I have to be a good person, or otherwise I won't get into heaven." Or I want to get into heaven. There's never a day goes by in my head that I think I better be good today, or I will not get into heaven. I don't think about getting into heaven. I want to be good because I'm a good person. I want to be a Christian because I love the Lord. I don't do anything for a reward. And sadly, I see many Christians today doing just that, pretending to be Christians, thinking that they're going to get into heaven when they're not. And I don't understand that's why they don't even read the book of Revelation at the very end of it, where God separates, Jesus separates the goats from the sheep. I mean, it's very clear right there that they're not going to escape that judgment.
You see, what the thing is, those people who are only with the Lord for rewards, they're not really with the Lord.
Exactly.
It's the same as feminists want to use men, the same thing they're doing with the Lord. And the thing is, the Lord will allow them to get certain stuff now, but all of this life is over. They had their show, they had their fun. I'm done with you. That's really what it is.
Yep.
Well, guys, it was nice talking with you here, but I need to do some research now. And thank you all for this live stream. It was a bit difficult to join in the beginning, but I think we've went through a lot of subjects, and that people will be very blessed with this video.
Oh yeah, if people bother to watch it, they will learn a lot.
Okay, but I'm going to log off now, and I talk to you guys later.
Okay, let's take care. Bye. Have a great evening. Great day, actually. See you later, buddy.
Okay.
That was Rashid Doshat, and we're left here with the Paranormal Mikto and War Does Fire. Paranormal Mikto must be getting pretty tired. It's getting late there.
I've got something to say. While the live stream was going, I was looking through the Bible, and I found something kind of interesting. It's from the book of Jude, chapter 1, and it's verse 7, and it says, "Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication," and this is the interesting part, "and going after strange flesh." So I'm wondering if that strange flesh is like the Nephilim, or like some kind of corrupt DNA hybrid human. Like, what would strange flesh be?
Well, like I said at the beginning of the last live stream, that I believe that mermaids were real at one time, and I believe that the Minotaur was real at one time, so probably there's your answer right there. And by the way, if you ever have any cool biblical questions, always ask them. Never hold back.
No, I definitely not. But I only found it just a few minutes ago as the live stream was almost over, so that's why I'm asking you now. Okay, well, that's cool. But strange flesh is something I haven't seen before in the Bible.
Well, maybe you weren't meant to see it until now.
No, I probably did see it and forgot it and just saw it again now, so that's cool. Well, anyway, thanks for the great talk we've had. We probably should have ended here because, we've been talking a long time today.
Yep. I'm good with it. It doesn't bother me that much. Because I got the leg thing right now, so I can't do much anyways.
No. I hope your leg gets better soon.
It is. It's getting better really quickly, actually. I can tell that the Lord is actually helping with it. So
great. Okay, well, I'll see you later then.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Rashid and me. I know he can be a little bit hard to understand sometimes.
Oh, no, it's interesting to get other people's perspective. So I found his channel now, so I'll start looking at his videos.
His videos are pretty off the wall, I think. They're very good, especially for newcoming Christians or just young people in general.
Right. No, that's great. Okay, well, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, I'll see you later, buddy. Have a great day. Or evening, I should say. Sleep well. Bye-bye.
Bye.